Welcome back. We are underway with the third, potentially final game of this best-of-5 series between SK Gaming and the Red. Does seem like we are seeing potentially a level 1 fight here, but I'm Spuddington, joined by Rapid, and what are your thoughts here for the level 1?
Alright, for level 1, this is going to be very defensive for both teams once again. If you want to go aggressive, you might look towards the Red just to try to get an advantage out of, making a pick at that level 1. But in Season 4, you don't get that much of an advantage for getting first, second blood there very early on. Because the gold for kills in the first 4 minutes of the, not 4 minutes, first 2 minutes of the game is still very low. Or is it 4 minutes? I forget what the cutoff time there is. But either way, probably we'll see defensive starts out of both teams. You can see Freddy actually filling up his blood will by spamming out those Blades of Torment top lane just to get some extra attack speed there in that top lane. Candy Panda and Nif backing off to the blue buff. That will be the starting place for XXX the Destroyer X, who is actually Svenskeren, if you're just now joining us.
That name, I mean, really. However,
he's even got the 3s in there.
Yeah, I mean that is really like dedication to making yourself seem like a complete prat. But it's kind of one of those ironic things, I believe. But having predicted this, it makes me feel very smug to say it. But it does look like we are seeing a 2v1 lane in this top. Tristana versus Fiddlesticks. Freddy122 gonna have to run away, but he should be okay for now.
Gonna take about half of his health. The explosive shot actually deals 110 damage on its base, not 210, so just clarifying that from my earlier gaffe. But going into the early game, Spencer is not going to have as much of a presence early on, but we'll have to see if he goes for that same sort of jungle domination strategy that we've seen so far, and actually it might work out very well in the bottom half of the jungle, but if he tries to do it up top, he's going to be facing off against a duo lane that's up there that may be pretty good at poking him back out. Grabs the double buffs, doubles for both junglers now, but Svenskeren a little bit ahead of the Lee Sin there on the Red. So bottom lane, Nif and Candy Panda, man, those guys are dealing all kinds of damage to the turret. They dealt, I think that's 700 damage already, even before Faris makes it to lane. So he goes back and grabs some consumables, and start for the Red not looking so good.
Yeah, Shen here did actually take the double golem. As predicted, there is a gank in the top lane. They're taking the pressure off Outshot.
Demako very low, but the repel backwards. Not looking for anything too aggressive just yet. Just making sure that Freddy has some room to work with now that Demako is low, forced to burn both of his potions, which are actually delicious cookies that restore some mana as well.
Biscuits, right? Same thing, but crap. So anyway, we do actually have a gank from Lee Sin in the bottom lane, but I don't think they want to go for this.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's ganking who here. It definitely feels like Nif and Candy Panda. A lot of damage left to give there. Demaka forced to flash away just off of the relentless pursuit there from Candy Panda. So that's how you figure out who's ganking who runs away after they walk into lane. And so that is going to do it for the gank attempt for Demaka. He's going to be back in the jungle doing those double golems, which are probably next to the white, very hard to deal with at low health for junglers. He's going to go back to base. That means that Svenskeren's pretty free and clear to do whatever he wants in Lee Sin's jungle.
And given the choice, he chooses to do nothing. Well, okay, go back.
He took wolves, man.
He did. He stole away the big wolf, and that does hurt. That does hurt Lee Sin. It will not be ideal for him, but I feel right now, actually, the biggest concern for SK is in this top lane. They do want Freddy122 to do okay, but at the moment, the base race, as it were, the tower race in top and bot is going their way mildly, and Tristana is not actually getting the kill on Freddy, or not pushing him down to that point where he is unable to deal with without using his Guardian Angel passive. So that's actually not really a good situation for the Red. They need to be able to take a pushing advantage right now with their strong pushing early lane.
Mid lane, Hipster just see is gonna get jumped on there by Lee Sin. Top lane, a lot of aggression as well, but there's actually Svenskeren very low at Dragon. Will he go down here to the Dragon? I'm not sure. Yeah, he's gonna die. Svenskeren doesn't get the help from Nif and Candy Panda. I think the lantern was just out of range, so he couldn't click it or something. I'm I'm not sure why he didn't take that out of there, but he dies to Dragon. That's going to force SK off of their 5-minute 40-second Dragon attempt.
Really aggressive and interesting play from SK here, but it's going to backfire for them quite badly, and these kinds of differences can snowball games. That pushes them a long way behind in that tower race, which was previously the main concern, and Freddy122 now does not have Aatrox's Bloodwell passive available, and that means that the Red are much more free to push this tower aggressively. That could result in quite a significant advantage early on for them.
Yeah, that means Demarco and Nyx are going to be able to push that lane up. Tristana, great early game, incredible late game, but falls off a little bit towards the mid, and so giving her that 2v1 is really going to set her up fairly well for that mid-game push. But if you look at the tower situation, it's actually going to be first turret of the game taken by the Red if they want to keep pushing this. Bottom lane, only about half health taken off of Therese's turret, who's actually pushed the lane up against Nif and Candy Panda.
Yeah, top tower falling now. Freddy122 actually in a little bit of trouble, and he's somehow managed to lose health when he's recalling to the spawn pad, or at least trigger the little alarm sound in the spectator client. So I'm not really quite sure what happened there, but
They Will Pay was trying to snipe him out there, but the spear hit right during that 0.5 seconds of invincibility. Now we're going to see the Mega Inferno Bomb just used to clear out some creeps there. It now does 50% additional damage to minions, so it's great at wave clearing, just picking up a little bit of extra CS on his way back.
yeah, and you actually see Zig's usage now quite a lot. Very, very strong at controlling map pressure by virtue of Mega Inferno Bomb. He is both able to defend the tower he is at very effectively using the minefield and his Q, but he's also able to influence other lanes. Candy Panda now potentially in trouble. Lee Sin on his heels.
There we go, Sonic Wave, Resonating Strike, waits until he clicks the lantern, but now, Lee Sin way too far, Death Sentence back in there, Nif completely in control, it's first blood going to him, Thresh taking that one down to Monko and Nixstar duo lane versus duo, but without the jungler there, it's gonna be sad times for Lee Sin as he went in a little bit too deep, and Nif just played that absolutely beautifully.
And these are the risky plays that the Red cannot afford to really be making right now. They actually were able to come out of this laning phase on a decently level playing field, but right now it looks like they are going to be actually not doing anything in mid. That's a very lackluster result there, but Italy getting the stand united on her. This is the kind of thing, though, the Red cannot afford to start losing ground again. Last couple of games they've come out of the laning phase with a massive disadvantage in objectives. They have the tools now, potentially, to put themselves back into contention. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it, though. They are. Lee Sin there, for instance, that cannot happen again.
Shen down there as Freeze went back to the mid lane, and that really frees up Freddy to do basically whatever he wants top lane. It's going to give him, would have set a CS advantage, but as both solo laners started out in 2v1s, they're going to be way behind everybody else in CS, kind of on par there with the junglers. Triple Doran's Blades, though, for Freddy, channeling his inner Genja, but there's actually Crowstorm in the bottom lane. Demongo go in and Fear on to Candy Panda, jump in from Nixstar, so much damage, Candy's going to die through the lantern, and now with Demonco and Nixstar, great engaged, actually winning their lane pretty hard. Nice 2v1. Now it's actually going in on a Nif. There's the box backwards. Is it enough though? The flash kick back. Nif will fall to Nixstar. That's gonna be what is that? His first kill? It was an assist earlier, but top lane though, Paris shadow dashing there onto Freddy122 and just trades across the map, but the duo lane working out really well for the Red.
That's kind of the things we need to be seeing from them. They need to now also capitalize on that. Take objectives, which they are doing. Bottom tower does go down. Dragon is available, but unlikely to see them go for that right now with Elise in the area. There's also been a kill in the mid lane, which I am blind and completely missed. And Rapid has died. I don't know what's going on.
No, it's okay. I don't think that They Will Pay knew what was going on either. It's like all of a sudden, all of Zig's moves deal damage, and that was a little bit too much for him to handle. So now it's the Dragon attempt. Will Svenskeren meet his match top lane, though? It's going to be Massacre down there. It's, I'm know about that. Freddy just using it to sustain up just a little bit, but takes the worst end of that and a couple turret shots, so he won't be able to use that to pick up a kill. Dragon does go down there. Candy Panda actually the one to take that away, so maybe needing some Smite tutorials there for Svenskeren, but either way, Dragon successfully taken this time. Svenskeren managed to make it out alive.
And I actually want to highlight at the moment in this top lane, Freddy122 appears to be able to push back Shen in a one-on-one situation. He is playing it quite aggressively though, and at the moment, if Lee Sin does come up there right now, could potentially lead into that Bloodwell passive being popped. Definitely he's thinking about it, and he wants to go for this, circling around with the red buff in tow.
Top lane, we will see Freddy is in a little bit of trouble. Does have the Bloodwell passive. It lands Blades of Torment onto both Damaka and Fariz. Freddy takes a lot of damage. There's the Dragon's Rage, but a little bit too soon. He's going to pop the Bloodwell there in the brushes. Gets the Dark Flight away and will remain safe for now. But a lot of aggression, a lot of pushing. With all that juggle pressure top lane from Lee Sin, frees up the rest of SK to go for a 4-man push mid.
Yeah, they are going to be able to take that tower now very, very easily. Maybe not, though!
Demago goes in with a Crow Storm, gets bounced into the rest of the team. There's a Shen ultimate as well, getting Fariz in there. Gets Death Sentence right into the team. He's going to go down. Nif to grab another kill for himself. And it was a crazy engage there by the red. Looked good, but worked out not quite so well. As Fariz goes down, SK now very strong there. 4-man push, continuing to stay alive there in the middle lane. Middle turret will fall. SK 2-2 in turrets.
And there's a big problem right now in this composition that we're seeing from the red. This is the doldrum phase for Tristana. She is not very strong right now. And is also not going for the Blade of the Ruined King, so she's not going to have that bursty aspect that other AD carries, well, or at least other AD carries don't have in the same way as Tristana. Right now, that's where a lot of the gold and experience is actually focused from the red, and that's not really doing a lot of work for them at the moment. You can see it now. Tristana just can't go near this minion line and can't help to push this out. Much the same, actually, from They Will Pay. Very difficult to clear this, but if they can get the 5-man and 4 engaged, it could work.
They will pay very low. The Dark Passageway out there. Candy Panda will get feared. There's actually a Shadow Dash right on top. Candy Panda goes down before the fight even starts. Spears to come in, chuck it down. Spencer down to half hit points, and the rest of SK will stay away. I was trying to put some alliteration there, and I think it worked out pretty well. They Will Pay. Spears starting to land there, but the push continues for SK in the middle lane. Secondary turret very low, and They Will Pay push SK away.
It does actually seem...
Cool, Mega Inferno Bomb getting in there. Oh my goodness, just sees way too far in there. Freddy, 1-2-2 in the middle of the enemy team. There's Demago gets executed there by Destroyer's Venomous Bite. Nixstar and They Will Pay back underneath the turret. Minions to block out those Nidalee Spears, and They Will Pay needs to make it back to base. Does not have any more mana, but should just look for the free Cougar form auto attacks to maybe push this wave back, as finally, at long last, SK Gaming will be forced back to base.
And the big problem that the red is suffering from with their team composition is they need to get in close with Tristana in order to clear out creep waves. When they're a little bit behind like they are right now, and against stuff like Nif's really brilliant hooks, and the sheer amount of punish that comes out of the rest of that composition with a lot of magic damage coming down very suddenly from Ziggs on top of that, with Chain CC from Elise, that is so scary. So Tristana can't go near the minion line, and then what are they left with for creep clearing? They've got Darkwing, which is, you know, okay, but it's a support budget. There's no AP. He can't clear it that well. Nidalee, well, you can spear one minion fairly safely, but it's on a 5, 6, 7 second cooldown. That's not going to be that relevant in that situation. Lee Sin also not able to do much. Shen not really able to if they're behind. They're unable to threaten and engage. And that means that SK is just abusing that by grouping up in the mid lane and shoving really hard, forcing them back continually, and that's why they stuck in for so long as well.
Right now, SK, this is, out of all 3 games that we've seen today, the most even. The red have tied things up in kills, turrets, well, previously in turrets, and are only down a couple thousand gold. Reese able to dodge out both attempts there by Nif to catch him out, dodge the cocoon as well, but now SK with a 5-man rotation towards the top lane second tier turret. They tried to take the middle turret, couldn't quite make it happen, but now with a very strong push here in the top lane, will Demonco decide to go in there? You've got Lee Sin and Nidalee all catches Nidalee through his jump away. Mega Inferno Bomb there onto We Will Pay. There's gonna be a fear onto Freddy pushing him backwards. Will we see the engage there? Nixar getting locked up there by the Cocoon. Gia gets over the wall with the rocket jump, stays alive as the Stand United will come in there. Second tier turret falls in the top lane, and now it's the first Nexus turret under fire from SK.
And that continual relentless pushing, because SK can siege so effectively, because the Red have no choice but to try and engage or just lose loads of towers, they just do not seem to have an answer right now. Maybe if Tristana had gotten hyper fed, like this is not enough feed, for instance, by the way, maybe if she was incredibly fed right now, then the Red could threaten the engage and just rely on Tristana to carry them through the team fight so that they would be forced to engage themselves. But at the moment, she isn't strong enough, and they are losing objectives too fast to really get back in. This is not a good situation for the Red, and they need to be a little bit more proactive now. They need to start taking objectives, which they are doing, going for Dragon, to help, hopefully, help to equalize their gold at least a little bit.
Dragon going down there, attempted steal, but not able to take that one away. There will be once again. Wait, I want to highlight that is actually Nixar that took the Dragon. Okay, so I was a little bit worried. I was worried that, like, I don't know, Sunscreen had a Sunfire cape and was going to steal a global objective from across the map. But for right now, he's just pushing through that middle turret. You can see it's only left with about 500 hit points, and while they were unsuccessful on their first attempt, looks like it's only going to take Nif and Svenskeren to take that one down. Now second tier turret taken down there for SK. Whether or not they're just going to go bottom and try to take the third is kind of up to them. Looks like pressure top lane is more their cup of tea, as I feel like referencing cups of tea is more appropriate when I'm casting with these putting things.
Oh, thank you. Except I'm actually a coffee drinker. But doesn't really matter either way. I like to think I have good taste, but who knows? Doesn't really matter at the moment, because SK are just going to push the inhib. And again, the only answer that they have, that the Red can possibly do to stop the siege, is to engage, but they've proven repeatedly they can't win straight fights.
Oh, Death Sentence does stand on a Priest, pulls it back, but there's the flash. 4-man Crow Storm out there from Demonco. The flash flash taunt there from Priest locks him down, but they will pay very low, very far outfield from the rest of his team. Now 1v4 gonna go down there. It's a death for They Will Pay, but will we see? Oh, Nixar gets pulled in there, gets taken down. Nif just absolutely bloodthirsty. 4-1-0. It's support Candy Panda this time. So he has a 0-2-3 score. GG's starting to come out here for the Red, as they've kind of had enough here. Demonco has taken a little bit of an early exit from the game, as the rest of SK will continue to push down the middle lane. Second base turret down, second inhibitor to fall, as SK just dominating through these fights.
Yeah, this game is now essentially over, with two members actually quitting out from the Red. Understandable, given that this game is long since gone beyond their potential to control it. They were left in a no-win situation, short of SK suddenly having a brain hemorrhage en masse in their team. So, yeah, a little bit awkward at that point, but it does seem like SK are actually aware that the members have DC'd, and so they're just going to back off, heal up, buy up, as if there was still a full lineup from the Red to defend against their final push, which is probably going to come in fairly shortly, and likely to be quite difficult for their opponents to stop.
Considering that I believe two members of the Red are currently no longer in the game, that could make it somewhat difficult for them to continue playing. It's currently 3v5, which will make things somewhat easier for SK. Not that they needed any further advantage. They're just gonna take down red buff, which is apparently there's the culling. Candy Panda culls that red buff away. Sweet lord, the damage. I did not expect that, but Candy Panda with another red buff. Pretty sure SK are gonna Baron here. Not that they necessarily need that to finish things out. The Red just kind of waiting for the next 5 seconds to surrender. Should be relatively easy to pass a 3-man surrender goal.
Yeah, you would have thought so, but they may look to just, stick around, spend some more time on camera, as it were. They are the members who are still around, or maybe they've even forgotten about it. Oh, Stand United! Yes. saved him. Nailed it.
I was worried there for a second, but there is the GG at the 20-minute mark. The Reds surrendering against SK, who in a dominant fashion take a 3-0 victory.